Hey, Kingdom. After the bitter taste of losing the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are looking to the future. If we want to see Mahomes shine again in February 2026, it's time to reinforce this offensive line and give our QB the time he needs to work his magic. GM Brett Veach has work to do, and this full 2025 draft simulation shows how Kansas City can rebuild and come back even stronger. Let's check out the 7 signings who could bring the Lombardi Trophy back home. Armand Membou fills a crucial need for the Chiefs. Strengthening the offensive line and giving Mahomes more time to operate the offense is essential. In the loss to the Eagles, it was clear that the opposing pass rush had an easy time collapsing the pocket, compromising several plays. A first-round pick like Membou makes perfect sense to bolster this critical area. The University of Missouri offensive tackle is a big player with excellent balance and strength to handle physical NFL defenders. He has demonstrated the ability to hold his own against the best edge rushers in college, and his development in the Mizzou program has prepared him for an immediate jump to the professional level. Additionally, his agility allows him to excel in both pass protection and blocking for the run game. Kansas City has a strong history with Missouri players like Nick Bolton, and that connection could play a role in Veach's decision. Not only would Membou help bolster Mahomes' protection, but he would also bring in a local talent who is familiar with the culture and demands of playing in Missouri. That could ease his adjustment and accelerate his impact on the team. Membou's fit with the Chiefs makes even more sense considering the potential changes to the offensive line. If the Chiefs want to remain dominant in the AFC, they need to ensure that Mahomes has the protection he needs to continue dictating the pace of games. With a safe pick like Membou, Kansas City takes an important step towards solidifying its offensive line and keeping its dynasty alive. If the Chiefs opt to take Membou late in the first round, they will be taking a chance on a player who could become a key piece for the future of the franchise. His youth, combined with his natural talent and potential for development, makes him a strategic choice to strengthen one of the most critical areas of the roster. Deone Walker could anchor the defensive line. The Chiefs' defense has improved significantly in recent years, but there is still room for improvement, especially in the middle of the defensive line. Deone Walker is a powerful defensive tackle who stands out for his brute strength and explosiveness, characteristics that make him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Walker has a skill set that makes him extremely versatile on the defensive line. He can play nose tackle, helping to contain the run game, but he can also be a disruptor in the pass rush, pushing opposing guards and centers back. This type of player is essential to support Chris Jones, who is often double and even triple teamed. At 6 feet 4 inches and 320 pounds, Walker has an impressive build. But make no mistake, he's also agile for a player his size. His ability to use his hands effectively and shed blocks allows him to get into the backfield often. In Steve Spagnuolo's defensive scheme, he could develop quickly and become a key part of the defensive line rotation. The Chiefs have expressed interest in strengthening their defensive line in past drafts, and adding Walker makes sense to maintain that physical identity. If Kansas City wants to continue dominating the AFC, it needs to ensure its front seven is imposing and capable of consistently pressuring opposing offenses. If Walker is available in the second round, it would be hard to ignore the opportunity to add him to the roster. Not only would his presence add depth to the defensive line, but it would also give Spagnuolo more flexibility to create aggressive defensive packages against high-powered offenses like the Bengals and Bills. Tre Harris, a key addition to the receiving core. The Chiefs' need to bolster their receiving core is clear, and Tre Harris appears to be a prime third-round prospect. With Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, and DeAndre Hopkins all set to leave, Mahomes will need new, reliable targets to keep the passing attack running smoothly. Harris stands out for his ability to create separation in man-to-man coverage and for his sure hands. He has excellent body control, allowing him to make contested catches and secure big plays even under pressure. In Andy Reid's offensive scheme, a player like Harris can be utilized in a variety of ways, whether on short routes or explosive plays. Additionally, his speed and ability to change direction quickly make him a threat anywhere on the field. If Mahomes relies on Harris as another weapon to move the ball efficiently, the Chiefs could further explore an offensive strategy based on quick passes and dynamic reads. The Chiefs have a history of finding talent in the third round. Just look at Travis Kelce. If Harris falls to that spot, Kansas City has a chance to land a playmaker at an affordable price, helping to keep the offense one of the most dynamic in the NFL. Adding a player like Harris would be an investment in the future of the franchise, ensuring that Mahomes continues to have quality weapons to work with. If the Chiefs make this move, they will be taking an important step toward keeping their offense lethal for years to come. A stronger Kansas City in 2025. If this draft scenario plays out, Kansas City will come back even stronger for the 2025 season. The offensive line gets essential reinforcements. Mahomes gains a new weapon, and the defense adds talent to remain dominant. With these key additions, the Chiefs could set themselves up for another deep playoff run and maybe even another Lombardi trophy. NFL free agency is just around the corner, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have some big decisions to make. With several positions in need of reinforcements, the front office will have to be strategic in order to build an even more competitive team in 2025. Today, we're going to look at the top targets who could wear the black and gold this offseason. Before we dive into this analysis, I want to hear from you. Which free agent do you want to see play in Pittsburgh? Should the Steelers go after an elite receiver like T. Higgins, or maybe bolster the defense with an experienced player like Carlton Davis III? Comment below and let's debate. Steelers' biggest needs in 2025. The Steelers have some glaring holes in their roster this offseason. The team needs to bolster the offensive line, add depth to the linebacker core, and find more options in the secondary. But most importantly, there are 5 key positions where the Steelers need starters who can make an immediate impact: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, cornerback, nose tackle. The Steelers roster already has a solid foundation, but if they want to compete for a Super Bowl, some adjustments are essential. The defense remains one of the team's strengths, but reinforcements are needed at cornerback and along the interior defensive line. On offense, the main concern is making the passing game more consistent and improving protection for the quarterback. The offensive line, which has shown progress, still needs adjustments, especially on the left side. Additionally, the running back position requires an explosive player capable of transforming the game and providing balance to the offense. With a more efficient running game, life will be much easier for the Steelers' quarterback, whoever that may be. With both free agency and the draft approaching, the front office must decide which positions will be addressed in free agency and which can be resolved through the draft. As always, the Steelers prioritize building through the draft, but 1 or 2 big signings in free agency could make the difference in 2025. The quarterback debate: Wilson or Fields? The biggest debate among Steelers fans right now is who will be the starting quarterback in 2025. Within the organization, the expectation is that one of the 2 current quarterbacks, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, will be the starter. The problem: it's unlikely the team can keep both, so the decision needs to be precise. Russell Wilson brings experience, a winning resume, and the arm strength to connect on explosive plays. He has a secure style of play that could work well in a system based on the ground game and quick passes. However, his age is a factor, and his contract could be a burden on the team's budget. On the other hand, Justin Fields is young, athletic, and has a much higher ceiling for development. If the Steelers believe they can mold him into the quarterback of the future, he may be the better long-term investment. However, for Fields to succeed, the team must improve its offensive line and tailor the system to his skill set. If the Steelers choose to move on from both Wilson and Fields, their free agent options are limited. While some names are available, none are guaranteed upgrades. Sam Darnold has been training with innovative technology to improve his game awareness and decision-making, but he hasn't proven himself as a reliable starter. Derek Carr had a solid start with the Saints last season and could fit well in new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith's system. But is he the right leader to take the Steelers' offense to the next level? Aaron Rodgers has been mentioned in speculation, but this scenario seems highly unlikely. Rodgers is at the tail end of his career, has dealt with injuries, and would come with a massive contract hit. In the end, the most realistic scenario is that Pittsburgh chooses between Wilson and Fields while possibly adding a third quarterback for depth. The Steelers need a stronger run game. Regardless of who starts at quarterback, one thing is clear: the Steelers need a much stronger running game in 2025. Last season, the offense struggled to establish the run, and you can continue from here or let me know if you'd like me to wrap it up. That affected their overall offensive output. If the Steelers truly want to compete, they need a dominant running back. The problem is that this year's free agent class isn't as strong as last year's. In 2024, elite talents like Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry were available. This time around, the options are more limited. Nick Chubb could be an interesting name, but his recent injuries raise concerns. Other options like J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Jones are also on the market, but both are coming off inconsistent seasons. The Steelers could sign a veteran in free agency, but the best solution seems to be finding a running back in the draft to pair with Jaylen Warren in the backfield. If free agency doesn't offer many elite options, the draft could be the answer. The 2025 draft class has some promising talent at the running back position, and selecting an explosive player in the early rounds could be the key to transforming the offense. One name that has caught everyone's attention is Ashton Jeanty. The Boise State running back has the balance and explosiveness to be an immediate starter in the NFL. If the Steelers can land him on day 2 of the draft, he could be a perfect fit. Other potential targets include Braylon Allen and Blake Corum, both of whom have impressive physical traits and could contribute as rookies. Investing in a young, affordable running back makes sense, especially for a team that needs to allocate free agency money to other key areas. Wide receiver, finding a true WR. 1. If George Pickens is traded, the Steelers will need to strengthen their receiving core. Even if he stays, adding a true WR1 could make all the difference for the offense. Fortunately, there are some big names on the market. T. Higgins is one of the top available targets, but his price tag will be sky high. With teams like the Patriots and Chargers interested, Higgins' salary could exceed $30 million per season. Would the Steelers be willing to spend that much on one player? That's the big question. Other options include Davante Adams, who could be released by the Raiders, Chris Godwin, who is recovering from an injury but remains one of the most complete receivers in the league. If the Steelers want a top-tier offense, finding a dominant WR will be essential this offseason. Veteran options and draft prospects. If Pittsburgh wants an impact receiver without breaking the bank, there are other free agent options. Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins are aging veterans who can still produce at a high level. Diggs, in particular, has experience playing with young quarterbacks and could serve as a mentor in a new offensive system. A cheaper alternative would be targeting a reliable but less hyped receiver. Michael Pittman Jr. and Tyler Boyd may not be true WR1s, but they would provide valuable reinforcements to the receiving cores. Both have experience playing in the slot and on the outside. Another option, investing in the draft. The 2025 class features elite wide receiver prospects like Rome Odunze, Keon Coleman, and Xavier Worthy. If the Steelers want to allocate free agency money to other positions, drafting a young dynamic playmaker could be the smartest move. Subscribe for daily Chiefs content, breaking news, rumors, and analysis. Like, comment, and share. Let's turn this loss into motivation.